I was born on April 9th, 1973, in Mishawaka, Indiana. 4 years later, Mom and Dad split, and off to California we went. I finally saw Dad again when I was 6. I usually spent the summers with him until I was 18. I had a tumultuous childhood. If you're Indian, who doesn't? In the 5th grade, I remember finding a bottle of Jack Daniels. I took it to school and asked friends to join me in the bathroom. Afterwards, we went to class and started goofing off. Soon we began fighting. I got suspended for 5 days. Mom was mad. She made me scrub the whole house from top to bottom with a toothbrush. That's when I found her marijuana stash. It's the first time I smoked weed. I liked how it immediately gave me a calm and numb feeling. We lived down the block from a convenience store, and Mom would write notes to the store manager and give me money to pick up her cigarettes and vodka. Pretty soon, I started to change the numbers on her notes, and I took more money out of her wallet to buy booze, to trade for weed. And that's how I made it through junior high, mostly stoned at it. I realize now that I was suppressing early childhood trauma. I was the only Indian who lived in the white suburb. In order to survive, I jumped in with the Bloods and learned how to fight. At age 15, I started playing sports. I began to slow down my drug use, but that's when the nightmares got worse. I talked to female friends, but mostly I sucked it up. It was the adrenaline I felt playing football that helped me cope. I played defense in 11th grade and was nicknamed 911 because I could hit hard. Thinking back, Coach John Brown was probably the first person who ever showed me genuine love and caring. Everything was going great until I herniated my neck disc. I cried when they took me out of the game, and that's when my life went downhill. It didn't help that Mom moved to Oregon. It was during my senior year. I tried to join the military, but they wouldn't take me. I lived in my Nova for 4 months in order to finish school. I graduated in June of 1991. I never expected to survive my senior year, but I did. I felt free, but sad. To save my life, I had to leave town in the middle of the night. I went to Portland to be with my mom. There was no place else to go. I moved from a weed culture to a mushroom one. I had no job and no future. Just a new outlet, harvesting mushrooms to get a better high. On December 21st, 1991, my cousin and stepbrother came to Oregon to take me back home. They were concerned. They only had enough money for one-way Greyhound bus tickets. While standing at the station, a tall Indian man with a hat, feather, and black boots told us, "I dreamt about you guys. Here, take this. You'll need it." It was a jar filled with pink slime. I was starting to get sober and feeling hungry. My cousin brought some Indiana food stamps, but we couldn't use them across state lines, so we boarded the bus hungry. On day 2, we were traveling east through Montana and the Dakotas. We hit one of the worst snowstorms I'd ever seen. We ended up in an accident. None of us were hurt, and neither was the pink slime. While waiting for another bus to arrive, we saw a cowboy go into the bathroom with a big belt buckle. We were starving. I told my cousin I could take him. "Did you see that wad of cash he had?" When I saw him carrying a gun, I didn't think it was a good idea. By day 3, I was getting mad and freaking out. What am I doing here? I could be back home getting high. Finally, we got to Chicago on day 4. We survived by eating a few nasty crackers a lady gave us. After another bus ride to South Bend, Indiana, we arrived home. We told Aunt Barb everything that happened, and she told us, "You guys went on your first fast journey." Later, Clarence White came over and did a ceremony for us. I'll always remember that first feast. The sweet strawberries and fresh salmon gifted to us by the Indian man. After coming back home, I started going with Dad to AA meetings, White Thunder drum practices, and sweat lodges with Tom Topash and John Warren. That's when I began to understand that human beings are sacred and that Creator puts people and things on our path to learn from. In 1992, I met Elizabeth and was introduced to the Medeoan Lodge. We had 3 children and raised them in Holland, Michigan. We socialized and relieved stress and anger by drinking and smoking weed. In 1998, we left racism behind and moved to Mount Pleasant when my son was 3 days old. Although I was still using off and on, I was working at the Zimbabwean Cultural Society and helped to rebury ancestral remains. My journey to sobriety really started when I began teaching culture at the academy. I got a new high from public speaking. For 6 years I was clean and sober. Today, instead of using substances, I have substantial experiences. I utilize my spiritual beliefs and participate in traditional lifeways. They give me purpose, strengthen my identity, and help me remain sober. My circle is complete. I am back home in Mishawaka with everyone and everything I hold precious in my life. I am becoming a better human being and helping others find their way to well-briety. Makwa ninch na disnakas, makwa odam bodawadami. Ogima sawa. Mishawaka and donjbia, gibi jayan mampi. Ahaw, miwe.
Hi.